Ladies and gentlemen, it's Eagle Talks Football. We're back again with another video off the back of the game versus Manchester City, where we drew 1-1. There's a lot that needs to be discussed. We're going to get into all of that on today's show. Please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk about everything right now. Please get ready as we got to get this show started the right way. As always, bang. Yes, people. So, honestly, where do we begin? Where do we begin after that draw? Honestly, where do we begin? I'm looking right now. I'm just trying to figure out, do I begin with the videos or do I begin with the actual draw itself and just speak about some of that? You know what? Let me see. First things first. I'm going to talk about the lineup, and I think the best way to speak about the lineup is that Gary Neville spoke about it, and I think the way that Gary Neville spoke about it was very fair, and his analysis sometimes is unfair, but I felt like his analysis was quite fair. In a team that has so many different options, I think Gary Neville put it quite fairly. He said, you really can't disagree with Arteta. You can't really agree with Arteta on his starting lineup. I think Gary Neville's analysis of this game was spot on, and he said it in his post-game press conference on Sky Sports. He specifically stated this right here, and I'm going to show it to you guys right now. Boom. So this is it. Gary Neville, after the draw at the Emirates versus Manchester City, had this to say about Arteta's lineup.
Above me, but I played in a dressing room who knew how to take risks, under a manager who knew how to take risks. And quite simply, the job of a football manager at the absolute top level at Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City is get the most talented players out on the pitch without compromise to defence. So that means your best players have to be able to defend. It's not the other way around. Get your most sort of what will be safest players out on the pitch and try and pinch a game. That's not what you do at a top club. Winning a league is going to need that edge and that spark and goals being scored. And you're going to need to create chances and chance after chance. And Arsenal are not creating enough chances in
that game. And I think that was spot on from Gary Neville. It's not many times I agree with Gary Neville, but coming out of that game, I feel like 90% of the discussion is around the lineup. And I think Gary and a lot of the people who are speaking about the game after the game were quite fair, and their analysis of the game was very similar to mine. We should have played a better lineup. We should have played a better starting lineup. We should have played a better attacking lineup, and we fall short of getting the win in that game because of the starting lineup being a little bit too negative. And it's not that Martin Odegaard, Zubimendi, and Mikel Merino can't get you a win. It's just I don't think it's the best use of the squad players that we currently have in our team. And I think Gary Neville and a lot of these other journalists and pundits who were speaking about it were right. Arsenal needs a more creative midfield. And then it begs to ask the question, what was Arteta thinking playing these guys? What was he thinking playing Zubimendi, Merino once again? And why did he play these guys? And you know something? He got asked this question in an interview. After the game. And what he had to say was basically, why are you asking me this question? And I'm just sitting there to myself saying, what is he talking? What? Oh, you didn't ask me this question during Bilbao. I rate the manager. I think the manager is a great manager, but today he leaves himself a little bit more. There's much more questions about him than majority of other managers after the game. He leaves the game being asked, what do you think about your lineup? Wasn't it a little bit negative? Don't you think you could have done better? And here's the question right here. And let me show you guys what I'm talking about, because he really did give the journalist a little bit piece of his mind. And I feel like everyone's kind of asking the same question after that game. But Arteta's point is, this is the same midfield that won Athletic Bilbao a couple of days ago. Nobody asked me about Athletic Bilbao, basically pointing out because the result was not the result that we wanted, that he feels the question is unfair. Let me show you.
No, we don't have time for that. There's a lot of things to do that.
Just a very basic analysis of what you thought that midfield could do instead, maybe.
Because I thought it was the best one to start the game. Nobody has.
Surely that's not the best lineup to start the game. Surely, Arteta, you can't be serious. Surely that's not the best lineup to start the game. Surely he's not serious about that comment. I'm sorry. Arteta was in his feelings a little bit in this one here.
Nobody asked me about the midfield in Bilbao. Nobody.
Well, I guess
Yeah, that's why. But it's the same midfield.
So why did you keep it?
Because I believe it was the best thing
So he believed that he made a mistake then.
for the team.
So he believed that was the best team. Arteta's really dodging the question, didn't really want to answer it. But fair play. I for the journalist who asked the question. I asked the question now to the rest of the viewers, everybody watching. Why did we go with that lineup? Why did we go with that defensive lineup? Why did we go with that lineup that's a little bit lacking of creativity, especially when we have all the creative options that we have? What is it that is making Arteta do it? Why did he go so in this way? Now, the reason why tacticals are saying he went this way is because he believed Manchester City would play different. He believed Manchester City would have played a little bit more on the front foot. And some people are saying that he's quite unlucky, but it's not about luck. Pep Guardiola came with a game plan. We have to acknowledge there's another manager on the other side of the pitch who got it spot on. And I don't think he gets spoken about enough. Pep Guardiola got it right. And Pep Guardiola is kind of lucky unfortunate to not get all 3 points, in my opinion. He went into the game saying to himself, we're not going to let them press us. We're going to bypass the press. We're not going to play it short. We're going to play it long. We're not going to try to play through the middle. We're going to try to bypass the middle through the wings and also create situations where we can utilize Arsenal's shape, which was a situation where you had Calafiori pushing up high and Timber staying low. Use that imbalance to your advantage to try to get Erling Haaland and Reinders into the attacking third. And it did. It worked. Gabriel Magalhaes went too far, followed Erling Haaland, and Pep Guardiola's game plan was basically hold on defensively. Pep Guardiola never plays this defensive. The way that they played in that game, ladies and gentlemen, it was so defensive. It was just unbelievable. And I just need to show you guys some of the stats, because a Pep Guardiola team does not get resorted to 33% possession. A Pep Guardiola team does not resort to this low of the ball. A Pep Guardiola team with only 230 passes. And the craziest thing of them all, the amount of clearances. They just were kicking the ball out of the way every time. This is a team who, when they win the ball, they try to hold on to it. This time, they couldn't care. They just want it out of the box as quick as possible. You got the reason why Arsenal we're getting criticized for doing it and Man City aren't is simple. They've won the league. They've been able to get over the line previously. I would be disingenuous if I sat here and said, oh, how come they don't get criticized as much as we do? We get criticized because we haven't won. Until we start winning, we're going to continue to get criticized. And that's just a harsh reality. I love Arsenal. I love the manager, but the reality situation is we're not judged on the same scale as a Man City or even a Liverpool, because they've recently won trophies. And until we actually win, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal will be judged much harsher than everybody else. But when there's judgment that's harsh, I feel like there's also judgment that goes a little bit too far. There is some judgment that goes a little bit too far. There is some things that people take too far. And you know what that is? that is the coverage of the goals. I feel like the way people reacted to us scoring the goals was mad. And we're going to talk about Eze. We're going to talk about Nani. We're going to talk about all those things. Shout out to everyone. Kaz raid. Big up Kaz for the raid. Big up everybody right now. But have you guys seen Turkish's reaction to the goal compared to AFTV's reaction to the goal? Because this right here also has people saying Arsenal have over-celebrated. Arsenal have celebrated too much to the point where you have Sky Sports even posting about it. ESPN, I mean. So this is what ESPN posted after the game. And shout out to everyone. Do me a favor, in case you guys don't already know, you guys can go and, of course, there is a link to OK Jersey. I'm putting it right now in the chat. You guys can go and, of course, get yourself some affordable jerseys from OK Jersey. The link is right here. That is the QR code, and it is an amazing, amazing website where you can get discount shirts for Arsenal, for any club. So make sure you guys do that. Make sure you guys do that. Make sure you guys do that. Make sure you guys check that out. You don't care about copyright? Bro, I'm not going to lie to you. At this moment in time, couldn't give a shit. I'm just trying to prove a point. So my point is that Arsenal, there's an agenda. And the agenda is Arsenal can't do anything. We can't celebrate. We can't celebrate goals. We can't celebrate anything. We can't do anything right without we have to basically just win and go about our business as if nothing happened, because this goal was scored in the 93rd minute and they're saying, oh, Arsenal had time, they could have done more, they could have maybe got the winner. You know what, you could say that, but I think this is just an agenda at this point. And the craziest part is when we look at the reaction from AFTV compared to Turkish, people are even saying Arsenal celebrated too much. Let me show you AFTV's celebration. I think this was the AFTV celebration. The men were doing way too much. I agree. I do think some of the fans jumping up and down were doing too much. We still needed another goal. It was way too much to be out here just jumping up and down doing a mad thing. And some of the guys, when Martinelli scored, I was excited. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think I was jumping up and down going crazy. I don't think that it was that kind of goal. You don't need that kind of goal right now. But yeah, look at this. I think this is a side of the fan base I don't understand, because some of these guys who are jumping up and down going crazy for Martinelli's goal are the same guys who are calling him shit and saying the manager should be sacked. Are they over celebrating? Definitely. Do I think everybody's over celebrating like this? I don't think so. I don't think everyone's celebrating like this. I don't think everyone in the Emirates was going crazy. Everyone in the Emirates probably going crazy, but I don't think you're seeing people doing too much. You can celebrate a goal. You're well within your right to celebrate a goal. You're allowed to celebrate a goal. People are policing people too much on how to celebrate and how to do things. Don't get me wrong. I want to see fans happy, but I do think Turkish's reaction was a little bit more on the scale of what we want, in the sense that I'll show you in a second. But yeah, this I think is a little too much. Cecil, fair play to Cecil. He's just like, we scored. Wow, he's gonna come. This guy right here, I met him. He shouted to me, "Yo, Iga, why are you so much of an Arteta sexual?" And he's out here jumping up and down. Well, that's funny. It's just funny. But I think AFTV get a lot of hate for no reason. Stuff like that, people are going to hate on them. Social media point scoring, really and truly, nobody cares if you celebrate a goal of another team. They only really care about Arsenal celebrating a goal. But I think Turkish's celebration was the realest one out of everybody. He's like, Martinelli scored, 92nd minute on their clock. Pick up the ball. We got another 6 minutes. Maybe we can get another goal. But wallahi, this is probably the realest thing you can hear from somebody.
Who is that? That is a fucking finish, Martinelli.
Oh my days.
Stop celebrating. Go get the ball. Let's go, brother. Let's go. Go get the ball, everyone. Why has everyone gone mad? Let's go. Get the ball.
I'm devastated.
That's a
I'm not gonna lie to you, Turkish. You're a real one. You're a real one. You're probably not gonna watch this, but I'll keep it 100% real. People can talk shit about any YouTuber, but I feel like Turkish is one of the realest ones out there. That's exactly how majority of the fan base felt. We're like, yo, get the ball, let's go, let's go, let's go. And you know what? Not a lot of people were saying this, but we should be focusing on trying to get the ball, get in the back of the net, and fair play. Turkish is right. But in the same breath, the players were trying to get the ball. Yes, there were some players going out and celebrating. I've seen Mo Salah come to the Emirates to draw 2-2 last season and do the arrow and do the fist bump and everything. I've seen bared people come to our ground and get a late equalizer and celebrate. The fact that we did it this time, people find a problem with it. I don't think you should have a problem with the team in the moment being happy. What I can say is, you know what, if you still feel like there's enough time to go and get a winner, then go and do it. That's where I agree. So it's kind of difficult. It is, honestly. But one thing I wanted to point out is this clip was circulating, and this clip is very important. This clip is very important. Zubimendi was actually trying to get the ball from the net, and you can see Zubimendi was trying to get the ball from the net, and you can see in this poorly taken video that he was actually getting grabbed up by Ruben Diaz and Ake. They're trying to hold us back. And in the grand scheme of things, I spoke to somebody who went to the game. They said it took 22 seconds for VAR to figure out what the goal was, and it also took a total of 2 minutes for them to restart a minute and something, almost 2 minutes to restart the game because of VAR and the Man City players getting back into their shape before the game gets kicked off again. So from my perspective, we can talk about Arsenal as much as we want, but the Man City players also have a part to play in getting back into their line, and they didn't want to get the game restarted. They were happy with the point. Pep Guardiola subbed off all his attacking players to end that game. Pep Guardiola took off every single one of them. He had no attacking players left in the game. At that point, if we would have maybe had more time, we would have probably scored a second goal. But what else is there to talk about? There is some more to discuss. I'm just simply going to say this. Arteta is really at fault for his lineup, but at the same time, he fixed it by putting in Eze and Saka in the second 45. But one of the reasons why he put Saka in was because Madueke is injured. Unfortunately, Madueke'S injury is another injury. Arsenal continue to have injuries, one in, one out. That's just how it's been for the last how many ever months we've been watching football. We've just been getting injuries nonstop. And at some point, I have to say to myself, is this an Arteta thing or is this just a unlucky thing? Are we unlucky or is this an Arteta thing? The report is Ben Jacob has said that Nani Madueke is set for a spell on the sideline due to his knee injury sustained versus Man City. No, he has not suffered an injury to his ACL. So good news, it is not an ACL injury. Nani Madueke will be out, but it's not an ACL injury. So there is some good news, but at the same time, every time we get some good news, we get some bad news. So Saka comes back, Nani Madueke gets injured. Honestly, I don't know what to say, man. I just feel like we can talk about Arteta's training methods. We can talk about all these other things, but I just feel like at some point you have to admit to yourself there is a level of unluckiness with these injuries. Now, there isn't an excuse because Saka's back. We should have enough quality to see us through the injuries regardless. But yeah, Nani Madueke puts this on his IG story. That's heartbreaking, man. I hope it's not serious. I hope it's not that bad because this man earlier today at around 11 reported that it might be an ACL injury. I hope it's not. Ben Jacobs reports that it isn't an ACL injury. So we're going to have to just wait and see what the actual injury is before we go too far. But good news is it's not as bad as we first feared Nani Madueke's injury would be. Nani Madueke in his time for Arsenal has been decent, especially since Saka has been injured. But Nani Madueke injury just comes in at the worst time. Saka's back, boom, Nani's injured. What's going to happen next? Ben White's going to be back and Timber's going to get injured? I don't want to say that. Sorry, let me repeat that. I don't want that. But this is the kind of luck that we've had. It doesn't matter if we get squad depth or not. We just keep suffering from injuries. And at this point, do I look at the manager or do I just continue to say we're unlucky? I don't know. You guys let me know. At what point do we say to ourselves, this is no longer just luck? We have fundamental issues where we continuously get injuries and we need to do something about it. Is it Arteta? Is it Arsenal? Are we just unlucky? What is it? Also, while we're at it, people are going to speak about Gyökeres. I'm not going to lie to you. Gyökeres' performance is not my main concern right now. I'm not concerned about Gyökeres. Gyökeres, Arteta had this to say about Gyökeres. Well, there's a lot of balls, very good balls in the box, especially there's 3 of them very close to do against City. La 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 la. Many moments it was very, very open. I don't know what the hell Arteta's talking about. Arteta's chatting. But my main point is I don't feel like Gyökeres had enough in this game, enough service to even say he was a problem. I think he had a total of 0 shots, 6 accurate passes, 11 passes total, and a total of the lowest touches in the game, 22 touches. That was the lowest out of every single player on the pitch. He barely got involved in the game, and that's because of the lack of creativity. Once again, I put this all on the manager, and everyone's just going to say, Igal, you're being so negative today. It's the honest truth. Like, as much as I want to say, oh, this was give you guys more breakdown of something else, the lineup was the real issue. 90% of the game today was down to the lineup. 90% of the game today was down to our team selection being the issue. 90% of the game today was down to this being the problem. That's it. As much as we want to talk about this or that or this or that, that was the crux of the issue today. And until something happens and changes that, we can't sit here and lie. Can't sit here and lie and say anything different. But yeah, what else is there that we need to discuss? Let's see if you know something. Let's discuss Ligue 1. Let's discuss Ligue 1 for a second. And this is not even to take shots at Ligue 1. The reaction to some of the Arteta out people and their reaction to the game is so wild to me. Their reactions are sometimes so wild that I need to show you guys this, because this guy, Lee, says so much crazy stuff, never gets called out on it. So let me show you guys. These are some of the things that he said after the game. So this was the game. First part is right here. So he calls out Gabriel. So Lee calls out Gabriel for Haaland's goal.
The captain for the fucking day with the armband on, playing at number 10. Why are you fucking around and finding that? It's Man City.
You know what? Fair play. I think you're right. Gabriel was a little.
The league's over, by the way.
Pitch. This one here was embarrassing. 5 games into the season to sit here and say Liverpool have already won the league. Yes, they're 5 points clear, but it's not the end of the world. Like, there's a lot of fixtures still to be played. You don't need to sit here and be giving up on the league title already. I think that's a very reactionary take.
The league's over. Congratulations, Liverpool. Liverpool 5 points clear after 5 games played. Bro, it's game over. What do you think we're catching that?
It's not about do you think we're catching that. If the players and the manager have that kind of mentality at Arsenal, I'd want them sacked. You as a fan should not have that mentality, in my opinion. People talk about wanting to win, wanting to be a winner. Winners don't sit here and give up after 5 games. They continue to fight. If I'm not mistaken, Man City won 15 out of 15 a couple of years ago, and they ended up finishing 4th. Just because you win 5 out of your first 5 doesn't mean you're going to go on to win the league. I know Liverpool did it the first time when they won the league in 1920. That's a completely different situation. I think it's wrong to sit here and just say, now that Liverpool won their games and we drew one and we lost one, that it's over and we're gonna lose everything. I really do think that's just wrong. That's just the wrong mentality, in my opinion. That's the wrong mentality to have. I wouldn't want to have that mentality, and I think Lee's wrong for having that kind of mentality in this situation. But hey, what else is there? What else is there? People talking about head-to-head. Head-to-head, we have a tough situation. We just have to go and beat. We just have to go win our next game. It's not the end of the world. What's next?
We're celebrating a fucking draw, mate.
You don't seem like you're celebrating a draw. The players might be, but it is. But they just scored a goal, and we keep it moving.
Zubimendi shit, bruv. I keep telling these people he's not very good.
Since when is Zubimendi shit? Zubimendi was not the problem in that game. Zubimendi all of a sudden is rubbish when Lee does when we drop points to Man City, but Lee was the same person saying that Zubimendi's a baller before we signed him and he's going to Barcelona and he's not coming to this club. But now that he's here, all of a sudden he's shit. The agendas are agending. This just stinks. You literally said he was a good player before he joined Arsenal.
Let me give you a stat. Mikel Merino.
I don't disagree with that. Mikel Merino, Rice, and Zubimendi should not be starting. But I don't think Mikel Merino shit either.
Martinelli has saved this manager's literally saved this manager's career this week.
Martinelli has not saved the manager's career. He's done his job coming off the bench and made a difference. Mikel Arteta is actually the one who put him on the bench and brought him on to make a difference. So literally he is doing his job, and you don't like the fact that he's doing his job. I don't get people, man. So somebody comes off the bench and they score a goal, they're saving the manager's career. Somebody starts the game and they score a goal, are they saving the manager's career also? I don't know. Honestly, sometimes it's annoying. It's annoying.
Where's Mosquera? Yeah, because this fan base en masse have told me he's the second coming of fucking Sol Campbell, mate.
Mosquera wasn't even on the pitch for more than 1 minute. What are we doing? Lee has an agenda, and every single agenda is nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. What is he talking about? Why is he talking about Mosquera? Mosquera played 1 minute. What are we doing? 1 minute. The man played 1 minute and he has Mosquera on his he's sitting here talking about Mosquera. Why? What did Mosquera do for you to sit here and talk about him? I'm so confused. What did Mosquera do? Someone please explain to me what Mosquera did for Lee to be sitting here talking about him after 1 minute played.
Yeah, this guy's amazing. I got it wrong watching 20-odd Valencia games with him playing and under 21s of Spain. After 2 games, this guy's the greatest centre-back ever to have graced English football. I mean, who's Sol Campbell? I mean, who's Desai, bruv? Like, what are we doing here? But Saliba comes straight back in. Well, guess what? Where were you for Haaland, brother?
What is he talking about?
Haaland literally put the jets on and said, laters, brother. We're gone. Me gone. Me there, bruv. First touch immaculate. And after that, it was just a shit show. We got very, very, very lucky today to scam, and we did scam a draw out of that game.
Okay. Just for everybody who knows, we are having dishonest conversations about Arsenal. Arsenal did not scam a draw. Arsenal were the only team trying to get back in the game. Man City were the team that were just shutting up shop. They played every single player behind the ball. Every single player played in defense. Every single player was trying to just get out of there with the win from Manchester City side. Arsenal side, it was on us to break them down. We had 45 minutes to try to change the game and break them down. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it. We finally did it in the 92nd minute or 93rd minute, whatever minute it was. For you to sit there and to say Arsenal scammed a win. Arsenal were the only Arsenal Arsenal were lucky, this and that. I just think it's a little dishonest to say, you know what, we did not play well in the first half, to say the lineup was poor, to say we set up bad tactically. I will agree with all of that. The one place where I disagree is to say that the whole performance was bad. I understand that the result was poor. I understand that the lineup was poor, but I don't think the overall performance was bad. I think the second half, we were good. I don't think we were terrible. I think Manchester City were just set up really well defensively, and it was difficult for us to break us down. At one point, they had no striker, no attackers. They played a 5-5. We need to have realistic conversations here. Some people are just having dishonest conversations saying Arsenal played terrible. Arsenal didn't do nothing. Arsenal were not doing anything at all. Like, we did push the second half. We ended up getting the goal. We threw the kitchen sink at it. We ended up getting the goal. Could we have done better to start the game? 100%. Was the lineup correct to start the game? No, it was not. Is Mikel Arteta at fault for starting with that lineup? Yes, he is. But do not forget that the lineup was the way it was because of the team that we're playing, setting up the way that they were in that second half. The way that they played in that second half, their whole game plan was to just shut up shop and be defensive. Set pieces don't work. None of those other situations work. We had to find a way. Eze picked out a beautiful ball from Martinelli. They were still playing a high line. We ended up getting a goal. Something came from it. Long story short, if we were to have won this game, we still would have said we had a poor first half, but the second half was maybe better. That second half is what we want to see. That was the most dominant we ever were, ever, versus a Man City team. And that's maybe because of how they set up defensively. Personally, for me, though, I just disagree with the narrative that Arsenal were terrible the whole game. We were not terrible the whole game. We were bad the first half. And that is where pretty much 90% of the conversation around this game is going to be circulating around that first half performance. Simple. But yeah, that is all I had to say. I don't know if you guys disagree with me. If you guys agree with me, whatever you guys want. Don't worry about Lee. I'm not even gonna. There's no need for people to diss people. I don't know. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to have a football conversation. I feel like a lot of the conversations online have been about random that is irrelevant, and I just wanted to point that out because I feel like there is so much dishonest conversations about Arsenal and Arsenal's performance and everything around Arsenal and everything around what's going on at Arsenal. It's just Arsenal over celebrating nonsense. Arsenal this, Arsenal that. Luckily for us, we have eyes. We can see that there is an agenda against Arsenal, and there will forever be an agenda against Arsenal, in my opinion. People will continue to have an agenda against Arsenal. People will continue to say Arsenal this, Arsenal that on a regular basis. But yeah. And the Nani Madueke injury, thank God it's not a knee injury. Thank God it's not a serious injury where he's out for a long time. More possession is not domination. We definitely dominated. They did not even want the ball. They did not do nothing. Let's talk Leeds. Leeds are doing good, man. Leeds are doing good. That was a good game for Leeds, if I'm not mistaken. You guys won, right? Pretty sure you guys won on the weekend. 1 second, Leeds United. Pretty sure you guys drew. My bad. You guys drew versus Newcastle. How did Newcastle play so bad? Usually they would beat Leeds, but Leeds at home are dangerous. Newcastle didn't offer any threat. Honestly, watch Newcastle come be prepared for us next week. All right. Enough about that. Talk about the next thing. We play Port Vale next. I want to see a serious lineup. Are you British? No, I'm not British. You know what? Let's just speak to the people in the chat. Grow up here. You can't take a little banter. Oh, who are you talking to? You're clearly talking to somebody in the chat. Let me see something. Salah made a mistake. Competitor. I'm so confused. What are people talking about? You have a little British accent, though. I don't have a British accent. I've been here for so long. Maybe I speak like them a little bit. That is probably the most. People saying over Celebrating Arteta talk, la 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 la. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. We kind of covered everything. We covered Gary Neville. We covered the whole over celebrating thing. We covered the Madueke'S stuff. We covered everything around the controversy about Arsenal. And at this point, I just feel like going into that next game, what do I want to see? Port Vale on Wednesday. I want to see a completely different lineup. Completely different lineup. This is the lineup I want to see versus Port Vale. And this is what I want to see in that game versus Port Vale. Kepa in goal versus Port Vale. I want to see Ben White back in right back. I want to see Ben White back in right back. I want to see Mosquera playing. I want to see Hincape in the team. Maybe you can put him. Maybe you put him. You know what? One of our top players are gonna have to play. You know what? Just go the whole back line change. Miles. Somebody's gonna have to play from the starters. So maybe we go. You know what? Yeah, just play all of them. And then here I'm gonna go with Norgard. I'm gonna go with Ethan. For God's sakes, if this team can't beat Port Vale, we are in trouble. Who am I gonna start with? These guys. Norgard, Ethan, and Rice. Norgard, Ethan, and Rice. And then who else do we have? Saka's back, but do I want to start Saka in this game or do I want to start Max? You know what? Give Saka more game time. He's just coming back into the team. Left, Martinelli has been really good lately. You should start him versus Port Vale. And then up top, should we take out? You know what? You can start Martinelli up top versus Port Vale. And in this game, start Eze. Since he didn't start the last game, start Eze. And then that should give us enough firepower and enough squad depth and rotation. Give Gyökeres a rest. Give Madueke. He's injured, so you give him rest. You give Zubimendi and Merino a rest. Honestly, I don't even want to play Merino in the next game. And then that's just the team that I would play versus Port Vale. I don't know if this is how much changes Arteta is going to make. We'll have to wait and see, but that's the kind of changes I would make. I would make a lot of changes versus Port Vale. Some people even saying don't play Eze and don't play Saka. We'll see. What level of quality is Port Vale? I don't even know. What level are they at? Are they League One? What are they? What is Port Vale? League One? They're definitely not Championship. Are they League One? What are they? Yeah, League One. League One team, bro. Our B team should be able to beat them easy. So that is what we should be doing. We should be putting out our B team. Odegaard's still doubtful. We got hit. Oh, Hincape is doubtful too. So Saliba might start since Hincape is doubtful. And we already know about Jesus and Havertz. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward with those guys. Is there anything else that we need to discuss before we go? Let me know in the comment section. Is there anything else that we need to discuss? I forgot Hincape was injured. You're right. I forgot Hincape was injured. Big up to you, man. Later. Have a good day. And we're going to send it over now to somebody else. Who are we going to send it over to? Let me check. Who are we going to send it over to? Who are we going to send it over to today? We're going to send you over to... We're going to send you over to Troops TV. Tell Troops you know what it is. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Love for the love people. You already know what it is. Eagle Talks Football. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace. The reason why I played Saka is because he hasn't gotten much game time. And the reason why I played Eze is because Eze he needs to play. And I was thinking give Ethan a start also. But yeah, there you go. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. Catch you guys in the next one. You already know what it is. Eagle Talks Football. We're out of here, people. Peace.